On. You are now live on Channel 8 and YouTube.
Thank you, Hannah. Good evening, everyone. I'm Vice Chairman Timothy Toth. I'm going to call our Select Board Business Meeting of April 10th to order. Before we begin, I do want to just rattle off really briefly, and I'm going to abbreviate it, the statutory recording notice. If anybody plans to record the meeting, you may do so, but under the Massachusetts wiretap laws, you need to publicly disclose that. The meeting will be recorded on Channel 8 and is being live streamed on our TCTV feed. Correct?
Yes, sir.
And we're going to have a great meeting. We have a few items here and a couple public hearings, and we'll try to keep this moving along. Matt, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I do apologize. I failed to mention Chairman Currie is joining us remotely. And all votes tonight will be done in a roll call fashion since we don't have all members of the board present in the room. The first order of business is approval of prior meeting minutes. We have none, which we have none. And there are no executive session minutes. Next item, citizen input. How many folks have citizen input tonight? Seeing none.
Oh, I do. I'm tired.
It's okay, we get it.
It's been a long day. They're kind of important too, so. Candace Graves, 90 Queen Lake Road, Templeton. Let's see. I just wanted to tell everybody that Parks and Rec will be having a Woo Sox night on May 3rd at the Polar Park. We have tickets, and this is not a fundraiser, just to be clear, but at cost, if people want to sit in our section, we're doing them on the unit. We have it on Unipay, and we have a sheet too. They can do. Opening day for the girls and our T-ball co-ed is on the 21st coming up. We also like to thank everybody in the town in the finance department, because we're about to come into the very hectic time of Parks and Rec. We have a lot more employees, and we have the concession stand, and they do a great job with us, and the HR Holly and them, doing all the queries and in their office and hiring all our employees. So, I mean, we've got a couple more queries to finish before the date and a couple more hires to, tie up. But, we just wanted to, our board wanted to make sure that I said thank you to everybody for working hard, for Parks and Rec. We know that we come with a lot of stuff. I think that's about it. I just want to say on a personal note that I know you guys are gonna be looking at the TCTV about and the Scouts using Scouts Hall, and I just wanted to. Adam said that was a work in progress type of. It wasn't a done deal vote, because some of that stuff is against some of the policies that the town has. Because Parks and Rec, we fashioned a lot of our usage of how they do the park based on a lot of stuff the town has. And I just noticed that some of that stuff's a little different, or how I use the senior center with the keys and stuff. A lot of that stuff is different. And so I just hope that you guys look at that. And especially with TCTV, they have a lot of equipment in there. They got to be able to get in there when they can to, because if you're at a site and you're filming something, if something goes wrong, you might have to run and get equipment somewhere. And if it's in that building and they don't have access to it and their equipment's in there, that could be an issue, so. I just hope that everybody, but I'm excited too, because public wise, Parks and Rec might want to go in there and do something too. So thanks. Have a good meeting. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Chair, Mr. Vice Chair. Graceland wanted me to mention that the micro grant program wrapped up on April 5th. It's posted up on the webpage, and she did put a reference to the Mass ARPA grants that are still available on the state level on our webpage. So thank you to everybody. It was a great experience. She's just such wonderful professional. She carries herself very well and the whole process was enjoyable, so. And congratulations to all 50 recipients.
Thank you for that. Any other citizen input? Hearing none, we'll move on. Item 5, administrator comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to go over some projects that we're working on. We have the Maple and School Street Improvements Project. We have a pre-bid meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. 10 Pleasant Street lot, so far we received no questions, so therefore an addendum wasn't issued. Bids are due April 17th at 2 p.m. Hoping that folks will put in their bids. The town hall cupola is out to bid at this moment. Also, we had the first town administrator, Bob Markle, stop by today, and we had a nice visit. Assistant TA and I had a conversation with Bob, and I'm very proud of him. I guess he just got appointed to the Joint Labor Management Committee, which is a pretty prestigious board to be on. So we had a good conversation. The work should be beginning on the tennis and pickleball courts. Surprised Candace missed it and citizen input, but I'm sure she's going to cover it in her report. Or actually probably not, because it's the next quarter. We're also working on the transition for our health and dental coverages for fiscal year 25. The chair signed off on the letter that's been submitted to Mass Strategic Health Group. Their board should be taking action, and hopefully we get accepted. So then we could start the transitioning, and we're planning to have orientations with our retirees as well as our actives, so they're aware of everything with the plan and get familiar with all aspects. So we're hopeful for a smooth transition from Maya to Mass Strategic Health Group. And then I also want the board to know too, I decided not to pursue, I asked our grant writer not to pursue the Office of Dam Safety's grant, because it turns out that there's matching funds that the town would have to come up with. And quite frankly, Depot Pond Dam is not the town's property. So therefore, I didn't find it appropriate to use town taxpayer funds for that grant. So I decided not to pursue that. And I just want the board to know, for full disclosure, because the board did approve going for it. But after further review, and I appreciate Select Board Member Griffiths's kind remarks to me today as well on my decision. And that's all I have this evening, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. New business, introduction of new employees. I don't believe we have any tonight. Next item, 5B, appointment, the Board of Registrars, a reappointment for Karen Hitzlow.
Mr. Chair, I move to reappoint Karen Gautreau to the Board of Registrars to a term expiring 4/31/2027.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussions? Second call, any discussions? Hearing none, we'll bring that to a vote. Currie, how do you vote?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Mr. Currie, how do you vote?
Yes.
And I vote yes as well. Up next is the first of our 2 public hearings.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I move to enter public hearing, reason Templeton Fish and Game Club, multiple amendments to the current liquor license.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to enter the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll bring this to a vote. Ms. Griffiths?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
Ms. Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Currie?
Yes.
And I vote yes myself. Hearing starts at 6:40 p.m. Good evening.
Hi, John.
How you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you. So the way these work, I'm sure you're aware, it starts off, the motion to enter, which we've just done, presentation by the applicant or sponsor. Then any statements by proponents, any statements, questions by opponents, recommendations of any town staff or a board, and then a response to questions, our closing, any closing statements, and then we'll close the hearing, and then it goes to the board's final deliberation and vote. So the floor is yours.
So, since COVID started, a lot of things changed for us. We were basically an inside club. COVID kind of brought everybody outside, which is fantastic. It's much better to be outside. So we're just trying to change our premise license to add the pavilion instead of having to come and constantly get permits because everything's ended. So now we'd have to get permits constantly for summertime, just on weekends. So that's what we're trying to do.
The upper pavilion at the parking lot
The upper pavilion and the bottom one, right?
and the
two
bottom.
pavilions. Yep,
That's
the two, yep.
last you come.
Yes. Just to be included. Yeah.
Full disclosure, Mr. Chair, I am a member there, but I don't stand to gain any.
Thank you for that. Any presentations by anyone? Any proponents for this?
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Hey, I just want to make sure that you've got the adequate staff to cover if you're going to add the pavilion in terms of, patron surveillance. Make sure that no one's overserved, that sort of thing. Do you have the sufficient staff to
We
cover
do.
the pavilion area?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we would put 2 people down on that staff.
Thank you. I appreciate you adding that.
Would they all be open at once or are
No.
they gonna be?
We don't usually open all of them at once. No, it would be usually the bottom one,
Mhm.
the one, the pavilion on the
Yeah.
bottom. That would be open. We don't open usually all 3. It could be an occasion.
Mhm.
We would, but it's very rare if we would.
Any statements or questions by any opponents? Okay, hearing none. Any recommendations of any town staff or board member?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to let you know that the notices were sent out for this, as well as an ad in the paper, and that Mr. Cormier has been working on this for about a year, trying to get this together to change the manager and officers and do the alteration of premises, and he has provided everything that he needs to for the license.
Okay, thank you for that. And for those in TV land, that was Holly Young, our assistant town administrator, who coordinates and facilitates all the paperwork with the ABCC every time we go through these exercises. Thank you for that. Go ahead.
At this point, I think this is where I would ask a couple of questions, just, with regards to the alteration of the licensed premises, based on your previous usage, how often do you expect to use the pavilions during the course of the appropriate seasons? I know you must have some sort of information on that.
So summertime, basically our summertime outside events would be like from June
Mhm.
to September.
Okay.
And that's not a dedicated
Mhm.
both days. Rain doesn't help.
Yeah.
So you have those issues that you wouldn't have anything down there. Sundays, we'd like to do a 1 to 6 o'clock, so it's just 5 hours and no more.
Mhm.
And then Saturdays is depending on the weather and what we have going on down there. So that could be almost every Saturday, but you're gonna have weather and other
Yep.
things that are not gonna happen. So
Mhm.
that's how.
Okay.
That's the schedule that.
Good. Thank you. Yep.
And for clarity, we're also voting on, when we come out of the meeting for Diane J. McDonald to manage and control the license.
Yep.
Manager, to be the bar manager now.
Yep.
So it's the change of liquor license and,
Change of an officer. Yeah.
yeah. Chief, anything? He's good.
Chief says no. Any other questions,
No.
comments, concerns by the board?
Great establishment. Happy to see it open.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair,
So too.
Mr. Rivard,
I move to close the hearing, Templeton Fish and Game Club, multiple amendments to the current liquor license.
Second,
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll bring that to a roll call vote. Ms. Griffith,
Yes,
Mr. Rivard,
Yes.
Ms. Richard,
yes,
Mr. Curry,
Yes,
and I vote yes as well. Hearing closed, 6:46 PM.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I move to approve the multiple amendments to the liquor license for the Templeton Fish and Game Club as presented.
second,
I have a motion and a second. Any discussions on moving to approve the multiple amendments and the change to the liquor license for the Templeton Fish and Game?
been a long year, good job.
Absolutely.
Hearing none, we will bring this to a vote. Ms. Griffiths.
yes,
Mr. Rivard,
Yes.
Ms. Richard.
Yes,
Mr. Curry,
yes.
and I vote yes as well.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations. Well done.
congrats.
enjoy.
Moving on. Item 5. For the candidate.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Rivard,
I move to enter public hearing, Candlelight Incorporated alteration of premises to current liquor license.
Second,
have a motion and a second to enter a public hearing for an alteration to the Candlelight Cafe liquor license. Any discussions by the board members? Hearing none, we'll bring that to the roll call vote. Ms. Griffiths,
Yes,
Mr. Rivard,
Yes.
Ms. Richard.
yes,
Mr. Curry,
Yes,
and I vote yes as well. Public hearing commences at 6:47 PM.
hi,
Hello, how are you?
Hi, thank you, how are you?
Good, good.
Please state your name and
Tim
record.
Guerin, owner of the Candlelight Cafe.
Thank you.
So the same format, general proposal, what are we looking for? And then anybody, proponents, opponents to it, and we'll go through.
Yeah, just kind of what he said, the same kind of thing, looking to do some outside activities. We built an area for it. And we're looking to use it, barbecues, cornhole tournaments, whatever we can drum up.
Quite beautiful. I'm so impressed. I drive by there every day and it's coming
Oh, thank
along.
you. Thank you.
It's a long way.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
exciting
it's-
to have such a nice destination for the town, for people, a different type of
Yeah, I hope so.
establishment, and
Yeah.
people can kick back in the afternoon, enjoy the pond and take hikes behind the place or what have you. And you doing the volleyball still, the sand pit volleyball?
We tried that, and I think we're gonna go with something a little easier, less physical.
Okay. We'll leave that up to Rick.
No rough and tumble volleyball like.
No, no, I don't think so.
Okay,
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
go ahead, Mr.
Yep, it basically the same question. Tim, will you ensure that you have sufficient staff if you're going to extend to that? And it makes all the sense in the world to do that. But will you have the sufficient staff to cover that additional area?
Yeah, I mean, it's not gonna be open all the time, we'll provide people when needed. If we have an event, we're certainly gonna staff for it.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Mr. Curry.
Holly, how does it look from your end?
It looks good. Him and his wife have come in and they've done everything they need to do and provided everything they need for the license. I do have an email from an abutter that I need to read. Do you want me to read that at this time, Mr. Chair, or
Yes.
are we
yes,
waiting?
please.
Okay. Dear Sir, Madame, my name is Laszlo Boldazar. I live at 734 Patriots Road. I'm not going to be able to make it to tonight's meeting regarding the liquor license alteration for the Candlelight Cafe. I do have questions and concerns. If this license modification will increase the noise that at times is unbearable. The screaming, yelling, and loud music outside after midnight is troubling and unacceptable. Large area of trees were cut down, which served as a noise buffer. Now it's wide open and I get the full loudness. If this noise keeps up, I will have to contact the Board of Health Department. Thank you.
Thank you for that. And Holly, can we make sure we get a copy of that email to include in the paperwork when the minutes get produced, please?
Certainly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jim, any response to that statement?
No, not really.
Okay.
What time do you close?
One.
Mr. Chair, was that a butter across the road or on the same side? I don't know if Tim knows that.
Across the pond.
He's across the pond? Okay.
Same side.
Same side of the street, correct? Yeah.
Usually I hear stuff, but I don't hear stuff from my house.
So, any closing statements, Tim?
No.
Before we close, Mr. Chair, same question I had for the Templeton Fish and Game Club. How often are you expecting to use the pavilion? I know that you haven't, I don't know if you've used it on special permits before, but how often do you expect to use the
I
pavilion?
mean, we haven't really done a whole lot
Okay.
up to this point. We've had a couple of chicken barbecues, but you know, it's new. We're not like them. They've been in business for a long time, so they may have a better idea. I mean, we're gonna use it, you know, as much as we can.
Okay.
You know, we don't plan on you know, running this at night, you know, late night, you know, we're looking early evening, you know, and I don't know what to say about Mr. Laszlo, but
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for that.
You think it would help if you gave him a heads up?
uh,
I know he's had the chicken out there, and when you had the chicken out there, people could count on. Count on it, and
yeah.
I heard all good things about the food, especially the fish on Friday night during Lent.
Yeah, we're gonna do some more of that. Which is, it has nothing to do with the outside, but our cook is sick right now, so we had to stop, but we're gonna try to do some more fish, you know, on Fridays, fried food.
We're good.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Reward,
I move to close the public hearing, Candlelight Incorporated alteration of premises to current liquor license.
Second,
have a motion and a second. Any discussions further by the board? Hearing none, we'll bring this to the roll call vote. Ms. Griffiths,
Yes,
Mr. Reward,
Yes.
Ms. Richard,
yes,
Mr. Currie,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Meeting is closed, the public hearing is closed at 6:55 PM. For the board now, any deliberations if we feel it necessary? Hearing none.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Mr. Reward.
I move to approve the alteration of premises to the current liquor license for Candlelight Incorporated as presented.
second,
I have a motion and a second to approve the alterations to the liquor license as presented. Any further discussions from the board?
Mr. Chair, I just want to stress having staff, adequate staff for when they use the pavilion. I know it's very close to their clubhouse. I think having adequate staff could also serve to help if it does get out of control noise wise. from Mr. Laszlo's, feedback, about the noise, I think that staff could be a key part to keeping it, the noise level down.
Yeah, I'm certainly sympathetic, to the neighbors and he's never mentioned anything to me about it, but apparently he's had a problem. We try to keep the levels down. I don't know what to say. We certainly, want to run a good spot. That's all. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's fine. Mr. Currie, thank you. That's an excellent point, and the comment was noted. Any further discussion from board members? Hearing none, we'll bring this one to a roll call vote. Griffiths, how do you vote?
Yes.
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 Mr. Currie?
Yes,
And I vote yes as well.
Good luck.
thanks, Tim.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, take care.
Who will want to bring up the comment?
Oh, yeah, Mr. Chair, I'm wondering if when we get the presentation from Public Safety, Chief Bennett, if we could move up the old business so that he can also discuss the ARPA Public's police staff.
Is that a formal motion?
Yes, sorry.
Seconded.
Have a
As
motion
formal
to
as you're
second
gonna
to
get.
take item 7A, old business, out of order, and we will bring that in at the completion of the Chief Bennett's report on the public safety for the police. Any further discussions by the board? Hearing none, we will bring that to a vote. Griffith, how would you vote on that?
Yes.
Mr. Gerard?
Yes.
Ms. Richards?
Yes,
Mr. Currie?
Yes,
And I vote yes as well. Okay, on that, we are back into item 6E, the presentation FY24 third quarter quarterly report, public safety. On the top of our pile is Chief Bennett.
I would defer to either. Well, I'll let them go first, considering I'm gonna go too.
You other two want to flip a coin for it, or? Yeah. Oh.
I apologize, my slip does not make it into the packet this week. I was out of the office quite a bit this week. So.
Mr. Chair, would we let the record state that that Chief Dickey presented or handed his report out to the board so that it may be included with the meeting materials and in the meeting minutes?
Yes, thank you for that.
Mr. Chair, I'm wondering if we should move up to the liquor license for Otter River, the multiple amendments to the liquor.
What?
license. He's already up there.
Yeah. We're gonna let,
Chief go and then.
we'll let, yeah, we'll go through the quarterly reports, but we should have looked at that
Yeah.
a little further. But it was a good point. Chief Dickey, the floor is yours, sir.
I can be quick, thank you. Try to keep things moving on. So for the third quarter, for the fiscal year, we've had 373 emergency calls, which is up just a little bit, from same period last year. 57 residential and commercial inspections, and something new we've been offering this year. We now do, car seat inspections and installs. We have 2 people on the department that are qualified and certified to do that, and During this third quarter, we have done 7 of those for the community.
Outstanding. That's the
Excellent.
Safe Kids program, Chief.
Yes.
Spectacular.
Also during this quarter, open burning season has begun for the calendar year. We have 229 permits so far since middle of January, and we've had a total of 342 open fires called in to date. Both those numbers are up quite a bit from last year at this same period.
Okay.
So below that is a breakdown of all the calls. I'm not going to go over every single one of them, but if you have questions on any of them, I can try to answer them for you. Sure.
Mr. Chair. EMS calls is that an uptick from what you've seen or?
Yes.
It is.
Yes. Not a lot. I don't want to say we're plateauing, but we are still on the upward slide of things, but we're not going as fast and furious as we were about a year and a half ago. So,
Okay.
but we're still going upwards.
Okay.
Through the chair, I had a quick question as well. Motor vehicle accidents, are those up a little bit in this quarter? Is that normal
It's
for the weather and?
it's right around the same amount.
Okay,
It may be up a little or down a little bit. It's right about that same amount.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Chief, what is good intent?
A good intent call is a call, somebody calls 911 or the station for something that they think is an emergency or something, and it really doesn't fall into the couple hundred areas that we can break a call down into. It's something that can just, doesn't really fit in. It wasn't, I don't want to say it wasn't an important call because it's important to the people that we're serving and we're going there to help them, but it was something that just doesn't quite fit the norms of how we break calls out to. So it may be something that we just help them with something real quick, or it could have been they thought they saw something and it wasn't something.
Chief, if I may, one of those unique situations where the National Fire Incident Reporting is a one size fits most, but not necessarily all.
Correct. I mean,
Gonna have those onesies, twosies that, how do you plug them?
just to look at fire alarms in general, that's 18 calls. That really, there's so many different types of things that fall into a fire alarm call. We break it down into, was it a smoke detector, a heat detector? Was it a pole station? Was it accidental? Was it on purpose? That's kind of just lumps in anything there just to a generic topic there. But that one topic of fire alarm probably has about 40 subdivisions. I could break that down. So.
Thank you for that, Chief.
Appreciate your time.
Any other questions for the chief? Mr. Currie, any questions for Chief?
No, I'm all set, thank you.
Very well.
Thank you,
Thank
Chief.
you very much, Chief.
Chief, too. Good to see you. Bob?
Good evening.
So hello.
Bob Solik, Templeton Department of Public Services. You all have your copies? Yes. Oh,
Yes.
We'll start with the highway. Highway Department, Hamlet Mill, we had to do emergency repair. There was a large hole in the bridge deck, which used chapter 90 money for the repair of $31,450. That repair has been done and the bridge is reopened the same day. The crews have been working on cleaning, repairing multiple catch basins and pipes as needed. The beavers are an ongoing issue, and if we feel we need a trapper, we'll get a hold of Laurie and we pull the permit and set up for a trapper to come in. We check all the beaver areas, just about every other day. The crews have been working the storms, retreating, retreating, plowing, spot treating as needed, especially this time of the year with the temperatures up and down and refreeze. Equipment's been cleaned after each storm, rinsed off. Power repairs are ongoing and probably in their high right about now. Tree and brush cleanup was done and as needed in multiple areas. And we had this past storm, which will be starting to clean those areas up tomorrow. Crews are trying to repair as many potholes as they can. As they come in, we patch them in and then we get a storm and it opens back up. So we're trying to stay on top of that much as possible. The crew attended a Dig Safe refresher seminar down in Fitchburg. Director took conservation employee for a ride to discuss possible paving plan for FY25. And we're starting to work with Antovi, the software company that's installing and training us on the software for the highway department. There were 5 driveway permits, 1 church permit, and 5 reimbursements. Any question, comments, or concerns? Matt, you're up.
And this is probably between both you and Mr. Lamontagne, but after the most recent storm we've had with regards to snow and ice, where are we as far as deficit goes?
What was the number I gave you? Before this last storm, I think it was about 66,000 in deficit. When all said and done, I think we're in the 80s right now.
Okay.
And I still got some more bills coming that I don't plan on going over 100.
Okay.
I've just got one other question for you, Mr. Zosik. What is the status of the 6-wheel truck that was being repaired? The one we had the fire in?
Being repaired or?
Yeah.
Oh, the one that caught on
the
fire. I
fire.
mentioned that a couple months ago. I think that we received it back.
Oh, okay.
It was like $32,000 worth of damage. Originally, it was like 22.
Oh.
But yeah, we picked that up and were able to use it the tail end of winter here.
Good, perfect.
Thank you for that.
I'm gonna
Yep.
throw one more at you, if it's okay.
There are
We're after the Hamlet Mill Bridge repair, where are we with Chapter 90 funding?
Well, I'm getting a new balance sheet. We're getting a little more, and I just received another notice. What was that? 100 and something thousand. So I'm hoping to get the 4 roads that I project to get done this summer. Be able to have enough money to do all of them, and maybe have some for a balance for emergency funding, like Hamlet Mill. So residents will listen and vote for the bridges. We need them.
Desperately need the bridges, correct?
So no other questions, we'll move on to buildings and grounds. Was an old shed at Pine Grove Cemetery, was filled with a bunch of equipment and stuff from the old fairs and stuff up in the common. We found out who owned them and Candace took a few items and a few items went to auction and got it cleaned out and we tore it down, rented it, got a dumpster and cleaned up very well. Found out that there was a legal bathroom in there that just went into the ground with stone and stuff.
Oh.
So
Okay.
that's all cleaned up. They touched up paint in a town hall kitchen from the remodel. Burial and flag duties are ongoing. Again, they help plow, clear sidewalks, town buildings, maintain the cemetery roads as the storms permitted. A lot of tree trimming was done at Pine Grove and Green lawn cemeteries. A lot of ice damage. I attended a meeting at Houghton Park for future plans over there. We removed the old playground, jackhammered all the concrete off, and moved that to Graves. Took it with no charge. Repaired and put up multiple stones in Green Lawn Cemetery and started to get equipment ready for the spring. There were 2 interments, 3 lot sales, and 3 lots redeeded.
Questions? Any members of the board?
I'm all right.
Hearing none. Thank you, Mike. Thank you,
Good.
Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Appreciate it.
Let's go next.
Well, I can't do that. Hello again.
Hello, Candace Graves, Parks and Rec Commissioner. In January, Parks and Rec was in the middle of winter basketball season. We had 275 players with 5 divisions from grades kindergarten through 12th grade. They were held on Saturdays at Templeton Elementary School gym, the Narragansett Middle School gym, and the high school gym, with a small concession stand table in the middle school lobby. Skills and drills were held at the Division 1 and 2, which is the lower level kindergarten and first and second grade at the elementary school gym on Sundays. It's the only gym space and time we could get available. We also had the coaches that were able to do some practices on Sundays for the higher levels, the higher divisions. We employed 12 referees, 3 assistant coordinators. We had 25 volunteer coaches in assistance, led by our coordinator, Ray. We also had a consultant in Texas, Bill, and we had a lot of sponsors for our basketball team. We can't do this without our local sponsors and businesses. We had the Long Noodle Restaurant, Capitalist Medical, TCTV, Shopper Image Screen Printing and Embroidery, the Covers, Glenwood Kitchen, Baldwinville Garage, Scotty Potties, Share City Oil, the Country Cafe, which is now Templeton Pub and Cafe, Country Bumpkins, Lawrence Septic, Graves Concrete, WJ Graves Construction, Constantino Salvage, Hallenberg Trucking. They did 2 teams. Would You Build It? Full Circle Coaching, LLC. We had Girardi Contracting, Unit 373, Junior Auxiliary, Little Flooring Company, EP Wine Propane, Westminster Barber Club, the new golf, RXC, inside golf in Gardner. Yeah, we really they really came out and supported all of our teams. That's how we pay for the shirts and get the program and the medals and things. So we're really appreciated. Thank all those local businesses and community organizations that stepped forward and helped out Parks and Rec. We'd like to also thank our whole team because they did a fabulous job this season. Vanessa, we hired Vanessa, our head coordinator for softball and t-ball. And also in January, we finished the basketball, in February, we finished the basketball season with the thank you medal awards on the last game for Division 1 and 2. We had some tournament play for our Division 3, 4, and 5. And we'd like to congratulate the Clippers of the sponsor was the Full Circle Coaching LLC, the Division 3 champions. The Celtics was the once again the Celtics won again Division 4 this year, which is Share City Oil, and the Heat was Graves Concrete on Division 5. We like to wish them congratulations this year. We put our application in for the Christmas tree lighting for December 1st, 2024, and started getting word out about our August 3rd National Play Outside Day event for arts and crafts in the movie in the park event that we held every year. In March, we were doing reviews and hiring for the spring season for softball and t-ball, and for Gilman Waite Park. The 3 compartment sink was installed at Gilman Waite Park concession stand. The water, when I wrote this report, it would say that the water wasn't going to be turned on until it was above freezing, and Bob said so. And the water was turned on this week, so I'm not supposed to say that, but it was turned on this week. We just literally like yesterday. The batting cage net was put up at Gilman Waite. We continue work on planning the arts and craft fair. And registration is still going on for at this point. We were still doing spring Babe Ruth softball and t-ball program registration in the month of March. The commission looked over a draft of the master plan. I attended the meeting too as well at Hooten Park, and they liked what they seen. They gave some input to make a few changes, and we put that request in. The building and grounds took all the old, as Bob said, all the old play equipment to get ready for the new stuff, and to make a way for us to execute the park grant come in July 2024. Taking away the equipment of the old stuff did not have anything to do with the grant. That was something that we did on our own. So The grant, will start in July, and that's when the project will officially kick off. The commission and, was working, getting ready, for the tennis pickleball court project, which, is starting in April. And, yes, we are in the process of starting. The fencing has come down. And the company will be coming, and hopefully in the next week or so to grind up the surfaces and get it all ready to go. We heard word on that. So we're super excited about that. But again, that's not about this quarter, but I told you anyway. Also, Parks and Rec Commission currently has 3 open spots. So if anybody's out there, we really need people to join our board. We're getting a little burnt out. We don't really need you. We're hiring people to do a lot of the jobs. We just need you to come, sit in a meeting and vote on some stuff and give your opinions on how to do some wonderful things in Parks and Rec for the town. I think, and we're looking to hire, we still have an open job spot for the concession stand manager. We're trying to hire that spot. So if anybody's out there, you'd like to help out this season and get a job, working the concession stand and managing it, we really appreciate you to go to the town website at templetonma.gov and apply. That is really needed. And that's it. Anybody have any questions? I went as fast as I could.
As always, a very, very busy quarter.
Yeah, we're always busy. Like today was a very busy day.
You know it.
We all set?
We're good.
Okay, thank you.
Candace?
Rich, you're up, sir.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This last quarter wasn't too bad. I attended my budget review with Adam and the budget hearing with the select board and the finance committee. We were awarded the 2023 EMPG grant for $2,900, and we're purchasing with that some smaller items to help build up our equipment for emergency use for CERT and emergency management, thermal imaging monocular, an antenna with a mast, and GPS units, a laptop, and a few other little things. I attended a FEMA webinar on CERT call out and deployment. It was really kind of a little bit out of our league. It was mostly concerning California and their CERT protocols in California, way above our level. Mike Dixon has been coordinating with the CPC in our efforts to restore the emergency management building. I believe there's a $5,000 plus article on the warrant for this town meeting to get some moving forward on this project. Don Moran's been doing visual inspections at Depot Pond, and there's been no beaver activity, no spillway issues during this time. Depot Pond Dam has taken up a lot of our time this quarter, along with Mr. Currie, Adam, the DCR and Office of Dam Safety, because of a concerned citizen and her emails. But we've been dealing with that as it goes on. The work group for the hazard mitigation plan update met twice during this quarter. They put out a survey for everybody to put in their opinions and comments on. That's ended now, and we should be getting the results at our next meeting. Right now, Jeff LaGrose and I estimate that we're approximately 40% into this project. I attended a FEMA webinar on how to plan and execute a CERT rodeo. Received a tier 2 submittal from Hafner's Oil. I'm sure the fire chief got one too. That's for their bulk storage of hazardous materials. Attended a Homeland Security webinar on active shooter preparedness. I coordinated with the Red Cross to set a date for them to come out and complete our shelter surveys. I believe that's going to be on May 20th, somewhere right around that date anyway. The message board usage for this quarter The clerk's office used it for early voting in the actual primary. DPW used it for road work, and the rec department used it for sports signups. And there was only one CERT activity during this quarter. We were asked by the town clerk to close the road. Mike Dixon covered this. Close the road down to the gym so students wouldn't park down there. He had to go there twice during the day to ensure that didn't happen, to make sure the parking was available for the voters. And that's really all we did during the quarter.
Thank you for that, Rich.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair? Rich, Adam, Mike, how concerned should residents or be about Depot Pond? What is the emergency, not emergency, but you know what I'm looking for, the danger level, potential danger level? Would you, could put a percentage on it? What would you
It is
say?
still in poor, it's rated in poor condition. It's not unsafe, it's in poor condition. It remains basically the same as it has been since 2020 when it was brought to our attention. Except for it's a lot cleaner than it was.
Cleaner meaning you
No
guys,
debris, no debris.
and no beavers.
No,
At
we handled the beavers. So it's in better shape than it was when we were made aware of it in 2020. Structurally unchanged.
Thank you for that. Rich, I'm gonna give CERT a shameless plug because you guys certainly deserve it. I know coming up, and this is open to anybody in town, it's a free training. The Skywarn Weather Spotter training that's offered through the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And I believe this goes hand in hand with working on becoming a storm-safe community and going through the certifications for that, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct.
Peter Leighton, one of your deputy directors, also one of the paramedics at the fire department, is coordinating all that. It'll be 6 to 8 p.m. Templeton Senior Center, no cost, and some pretty interesting training. So another one of those little tiny things being done behind the scene by our CERT team.
Yep. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're also looking for.
Last but certainly not least, Chief Bennett, this brings you up.
How is everybody tonight?
Excellent, sir.
And Mr. Currie out there in TV land?
We've had better days, chief.
Yeah, you sound like it. Okay, so to start off, third quarter, we know the third quarter is the heart of the budget season, with the hearings and the workshop. During this time, tough decisions are made with the hope that they're making the right decisions for the good of the community. I would like to commend everybody that was part of this process, because this process at times is time consuming and rather contentious, as we all know. Moving on to the station, HVAC project is up in full swing. They've been up in the attic for quite a few weeks. They finally came out of the attic last week, put the ceiling back up in the back gym area. There's a new air handle up there, new duct work, wiring was all connected. There is power. They have to come back out, do the duct work downstairs, a coil downstairs. And as the Guardian is the company that has the bid, as Guardian Techs put it, the system was never programmed properly. I have 2 techs sitting there on laptops for like 8 hours a day, reprogramming that system. Cruiser fleet, believe it or not, we still haven't taken possession of our new vehicle. Sounds kind of redundant, but supply chain issues. Happened to talk to the individual or the company today that's going to install the emergency lighting. They're back ordered to the tune of 4 to 6 months. We might not see that vehicle until June or July. Good news is proposed vehicle for FY25 has already been secured. It's sitting at the lot. Also talking to the gentleman today, I said, okay, so why don't you order that equipment now? So I can get both vehicles at the same time. Department news, all officers have completed their required post-MPTC yearly in-service training. The department is diligently working towards our certification with the Massachusetts Police Accreditation Commission. This process is very time-consuming, but we feel very worthwhile endeavor. Lastly, I would like to bring to the attention a new tool the department will be offering to the community, Tip 411. Tip 411 provides a web-based tool set that allows the agency and public to interact with each other like never before across multiple channels in real time. Our hope is that over time, because it's going to take us time to work out all the kinks and get everything down, it'll lead to a better flow of communication between our agency and the community. Cue the video, please.
By being our eyes and ears in your neighborhoods. Now, when you want to communicate with law enforcement, you can use Tip 411 and it's 100% anonymous. We've partnered with Tip 411 to provide a new and innovative crime-fighting tool to our community. We are committed to providing safe, effective ways for you to report crime anonymously. Now you can download our app to easily communicate with us, share information over text message, or report tips online. Our new tool gives you quicker access to provide information about criminal activity in your neighborhood. Plus, our officers will be able to ask questions and have a two-way conversation with you without ever knowing your identity. The easiest way to provide information is to download our free smartphone app available for Android or iPhone. After downloading the app, enter your anonymous message or tip. It's that easy. You can also provide photos and videos as part of your tip. If you don't want to download the app, you can easily text your tip. In the to line of your text message, type 847411. In your message, type our unique keyword, then a space, and then your message. You may later receive a follow-up text from us to get more information. Remember, it's all anonymous. But here's an important point. Always call 911 for emergencies. Our new tool allows you to provide information to prevent an incident after a crime has occurred, or if you have concerns about suspicious activity in your neighborhood. Download our app and take an active role in keeping our community a safe place to live, work, and play.
That's it in a nutshell. The app pops up. And I have, when the tips come in, they come right to the officer's cell phone. We're gonna have it set up that certain tips will go to certain officers, being the detective, the SRO. They'll go to those officers directly. I can sit here, respond real time to the individuals. You have to understand, and people have to understand, we do not have full-time public information officers. So it's not like somebody's just gonna be sitting there manning this 24/7. So there will be a little lag at times, but we hope that line of communication will be opened up better for us.
Interesting.
Any questions?
Choice of modern technology.
Yes.
Are there a lot of departments that are starting this? I mean, that's very impressive to me.
There's some departments.
That you know of.
Department in Western Mass just reached out to us because we're one of the first in the area to be doing this.
Oh, okay. Impressive. Thank you.
Is this available now?
Yes.
It'll
Yes,
be on Templeton TV,
it's, they push something out for
like
us
that,
already.
like.
Yeah.
Just showed us.
The video is already out. The video will be going on the town page shortly. We were just trying to tweak something with that and it's already on our Facebook page.
So that was from your Facebook page that we just
Yeah.
saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
Impressive. Templeton leading the way again.
Yep.
Any further questions?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Don't leave.
Leave.
Don't leave.
Well, that's right.
The other thing up.
Actually, it's Adam's
Thing.
gonna talk mostly on this. Well, the numbers are there if anybody wants to look at them. Yep. There's no question on the numbers.
Oh, the, your, yeah. Second page. Second section.
Some slight upticks. How does this compare to previous years, Chief?
Staying consistent.
Pretty fairly level.
went down a little bit for the winter months, things go up a little bit. We did not see a mass uptick in accidents like we did before, obviously, because the winter wasn't as bad. But generally calls for service go down in the third quarter because basically winter time. Calls for service usually go up with the nicer weather, people outside having a good time. Yeah. License to carries went up. Seems like everybody wants a license to carry now.
Mr. Chair.
Good.
Just one thing that points out at me is motor vehicle citations, second quarter 76, third quarter 96. It's over a 25% increase. And just anything attributing to that, or just
East Templeton Rotary going right through those stop signs, are they?
No.
quick with that.
When we were able to bring on the officer, we realigned shifts.
Mhm.
So we were able to put a third guy on a particular shift. So now that guy can actually stop cars, and instead of always answering calls or having
Okay.
other duties, as I tried to explain before with
Okay.
the,
Right.
So-
What's your moment?
Excellent. Okay. All I wanted to know. Thank you.
yes. I don't. Mr. Chair?
Good.
We
Yeah, we're, item 7A, which we moved up the, ARPA police staffing.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Go ahead.
So at the last meeting, the board wanted more information on this. You could see the email I got from our lead auditor, Paul Gargano. We can only use police salaries by the federal, you see in your guidelines for payroll till December 31st, 2024. So the question is, what are the board has in front a decision to make because if we change that to ARPA police and ARPA support and equipment, police support and equipment, then it allows those funds to still be dedicated to the police department, since we can't use for police salaries after 12/31/2024. And I think Chief Bennett could explain what he's looking at doing if he were to get those funds still committed to the police department. That's all I really got for you, because he just wanted me to follow up on it, and I did. The auditors are ones that suggested that language to change it to. And then Chief Bennett, the town accountant, and I had a conversation, and we decided to change the recommended word change to you this evening. And if you want to kind of elaborate on it through the chair.
first and foremost, we would look to go to bid to replace the upstairs flooring that we discussed. The entire upstairs flooring has to be replaced because of the HVAC issue. So that would be the first thing. Second thing I've talked to Adam about is that we would also look to take the police vehicle for FY 26 out of those funds. So that would save money on the general fund, or, general funds being used, free cash being used for a vehicle in that year. And then any funds left after that, we will look for obviously betterment of the department. Either we're having issues underneath the overhang that we put up with birds. Sounds kind of bad. It's really bad. So we might address that. But that's the type of things we would do with the money. I believe most of the money would probably be used up with the vehicle and the floor.
And those uses are acceptable.
Chief Bennett also understands that is correct, as long he has to have a contract in hand or prior to December 31st. So if there's any other capital, usually they present it around November. You'll be sure to present to capital as well. And we already had that conversation. So he's aware of that. But all this is sort of allowable use. It's just key is getting a contract in hand by December 31st.
Good.
Mr. Chair, so the staffing issue, the payroll issue, how's that resolved? Instead of using the ARPA money for staffing,
Correct. So if I may.
how are we gonna?
So what will happen is in your budget, you see this year, the full salary for that officer is going to come out for the first half of the fiscal year. So it's in there as 50%. So it works within the fiscal year 25 budget. Become fiscal year 26, that officer will be 100% in the general fund.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Go ahead, Mr. Currie.
Hey, thanks. Terry, that's a great question. This is one of those situations where federal and state collide. We're trying to adjust locally for the type of federal funds that we have. And so we do have that flexibility to be able to say look at all of the things that we've procured. There is the federal guideline is pretty clear from a fiscal law perspective, time, purpose, and amount. We're not changing the federal money. We're just adjusting the purpose locally. So it's not that we didn't solve something. We just adjusted the appropriation for how it's going to be used. So I appreciate the clarification here. Sorry.
Fantastic. It was a great idea to use that ARPA money to phase in a police officer. I just wanted to make sure we were seeing it through. But good job. Thanks.
Any other questions?
Nope, thank you for that.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I move to approve the change of ARPA to police support and equipment.
Second.
Motion on the floor. Change the ARPA designation to police support and equipment. Any discussions by the board? Hearing none, not seeing Mike's hand raised out there in TV land. We'll bring this to the roll call vote. Terry,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Thank you. Up next, item 6G, we have in our packets paperwork from the Otter River Sportsman.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I have a question in regards to procedure.
Go ahead.
And Holly may have to chime in on this as well. For the Templeton fishing game and for the candlelight, those were both public hearings. For this particular one, there is no hearing, it's just action. May I ask why it's a different procedure for this particular license as opposed to the other two? Do we have someone have an answer to that question?
I do.
Go ahead, Holly.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you.
Holly.
Yeah, I was actually going to mention that because especially with the three on the same meeting, it's kind of obvious that they're different.
Hmm.
The ABCC has checklists for us for our process, and it doesn't require a public hearing for something like change of manager, change of officers, directors. It's a smaller change in their eyes. It's when you have a change in the premises, like we did for the first two, that they need an advertisement and a public hearing and the notifications to abutters.
Okay, so because this is just change of manager and change of officers, directors, no hearing is required. This can just go before us.
Correct.
Thank you, Holly. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much, Holly. That's how I understood it as well.
Okay, I just wanted to know what the difference was because I thought it was strange seeing three of them on the same meeting, two being hearings and one being, oh yeah, you can just vote on it.
I went back and reread this 3 times.
Okay.
One up, Joe.
Okay,
Hi, John.
hello. So I'm John Henshaw with the Otter River Sportsman's Club. Our primary mission here is to introduce Ed Tenet, who is our proposed new bar manager. We submitted all the paperwork to Holly and hopefully everything is in order. And it's a multiple amendment because we're once again updating our officers and directors.
Right. And just to clarify, this is the only change to your officers and directors is naming him the bar manager and then also adding him to the.
Well, we're ensuring that we are aligned with the annual vote of the board members and the officers. Yeah, so we have now we have our reports to the Secretary of the State and ensuring that our members listed in the annual report for the corporation is in alignment with the ABCC requirement.
Okay.
And full disclosure, I am a member of the Otter River Sportsman's Club. I do not have any direct benefit beyond being a member at large of the organization. And this is one of those behind the scene formalities.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Mike.
I move to approve the multiple amendments to the liquor license for the Otter River Sportsman's Club as presented.
Second,
Have a motion and a second to approve the amendments as presented. Any discussion by the board? Second call, any discussion by the board? Hearing none, we'll bring this to the vote. Terry?
Yes, welcome, Mr. Tanak.
Matt?
Yes.
Julie?
yes, welcome.
Mike?
Yes, please.
And I vote yes as well. John?
Thank you, John. Congratulations.
very much.
And thank you for entertaining the clarification of
Oh,
procedure there. I appreciate it.
absolutely.
Hi, gentlemen.
It gets confusing at times.
Mhm. Usually when you show up.
Night, chiefs.
Yeah.
Good night.
Night, Bob. Safe travels.
Up next, item H, the annual town meeting warrant.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Report.
I move to approve the annual town meeting warrant as presented.
Second that motion. Looks
Motion
great.
made and seconded to approve the annual town meeting warrant as presented. Any discussion by the voters? Hearing none, let's bring this to a vote. How would you vote, Terry?
I was gonna say something.
Oh, go ahead.
I just was looking at the wording. I know that a lot of people worked multiple hours diligently on this new amendment about advanced recycling facilities. And the only suggestion I might have is to add or materials management facilities, because there's language,
By council.
there's just
Yeah.
two different, there's new language. So I didn't know if that would be both advanced recycling and materials management facilities. That because of the verbiage of some companies and corporations.
So through,
Go ahead.
so through the chairman, just a question, what article number is this that you're questioning?
Article 8, amend the bylaws,
Okay.
RE advanced recycling.
And then
facilities.
my other question would be to Adam, has this been reviewed by council?
Oh,
It has been,
thoroughly, Judy.
but-
I am
but
so
if I may,
Okay.
if I may just suggest, we could take care of it within the motion as well. I believe the warrant has been.
So you
reviewed.
want to change it then?
Oh, as in not here, you mean as in the motion at town meeting is
The
what you're
select
talking
board
about?
has the motion.
Yes.
Yeah, I was
yeah.
gonna ask that, and also.
And this
Adam,
one's going to Terry.
I was also wondering, that'll be the only one I have, right? I was also wondering, Adam, if that
They're a week.
would be suggested to the attorneys to materials management facilities, if we should.
I
Gonna
could,
cost you money.
I could speak with them on my, thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry, I have to.
Go ahead.
I can, I will speak with, my weekly call and, because we're gonna go through all the motions anyways. So just email me what you're looking at
Okay,
and they went through this, they had it for a week. I'm confident in this warrant.
Oh, they've
We spent-
I was too.
Lori went through this, the planning board, I mean, it's been round and round and round. I think we're pretty protected.
I don't even think it would matter that much because it's basically whether you say advanced cycling facilities or material management, it's still going to be issued by the DEP in accordance with that chapter in law.
Mhm.
You can add whatever language you want. You could say, an arcade or something. If it's issued by 40A, section 9 on 111, 150A, then it would be allowed.
And I believe, Mr. Chair, if I may, where this is a bylaw change, this is gonna have to get approved by the Attorney General anyways.
Okay,
So, I mean, they're gonna have to, they're gonna say up or down whether or not the language works. So. One more thing, if I may, Mr. Chair. I would also like to commend the town administrator's office and all those who worked on this on this warrant. This document presents very well. I am proud to, assuming the vote goes the way that we think it will, I am proud to put my signature on this evening. So thank you for your hard work on this. Thank you.
Well said.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, Mike.
Article 6, Chapter 39, Section 23 Delta. This is having to do with the Mullen Rule, correct?
I'm in.
Go ahead.
That is correct. Town council, after we had a conversation with them, they suggested that we could add it on within this warrant. If that's okay.
Yeah, I think it's smart to do that. Do you want to like include anything within that might allude to that being the Mullen Rule, or do you think it's fine the way it stands?
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Go right ahead.
I was planning to address that within the summary of the voters'
Oh,
guide.
okay. Good to go. Thank you.
The chair. I just also struggled with the Article 10, amend the bylaws, RE Capital Improvements Committee, with the language in Section D. I don't know if anyone else found it awkward, or, I mean, I don't.
But they're not changing that section.
That's
I
not.
was just gonna say that's the existing language.
That
There's no
was-
change
that was
there.
a 2 year ago change.
It's just awkward. It doesn't say a date before it's dissolved. It doesn't say, the members of the committee shall be appointed prior to September 15th. It just didn't sit right.
The members of the committee shall be appointed prior to September 15th and serve until the annual town meeting of the following year is dissolved.
The following year is dissolved. What is
Which would-
The
dissolved?
annual town meeting is dissolved.
Which would say to me that, let's say, the members shall be appointed prior to, we'll say September
Oh,
15th,
yeah.
2024,
I get it.
and then will serve until the annual town meeting would be 2025.
Yeah.
The following one would be dissolved. I think that's fine. I think that's clear.
Yeah, I get it now that you read it that
Okay.
way. I just was reading it in a different sense.
Nope.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other thoughts, comments, or items that require clarification?
Nope.
7, no.
This last year, to have the EDIC.
Mr. Lamontagne, you can possibly help me out here. The Article 7 for the EDIC acceptance. I don't believe we ever actually finalized the acceptance. The EDIC was actually a proposal that went forward to the state back on 10 October of 2017. Then it kind of fell apart. We brought it back forward, but we never did step 2. So this is the step 2. Will the town approve it? And if I misspoke, please correct me.
Mr. Chairman, I think you have that covered pretty clearly. Yeah.
The select, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Like as you covered it quite well. The select board passed it back in 2017, but it required to go to town meeting, and this was a article that was sent to me from the EDIC for legal review as well. So based upon that, it was suggested by town council to have this step be taken care of. And now that they have a membership quorum there, so
Thank
to
you.
clean up, it's housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Gil. You know,
No, sir.
Mr. Chair.
yes.
Evening.
Hi, Steve.
Good evening.
Thank you for allowing me time. I'll be very brief. On behalf of the cable TV department and myself, we're very disappointed not to see the additional funding article that we requested for $125,000, as well as
requested by the advisory committee on this. And we understand that there are budget constraints. And however, we would like to be able to work with the select board on getting good solutions to make TCTV sustainable in the future. Well, we are going to run out of money at the end of FY 25, and there will not be any more TCTV unless it is funded. So we hope to work with you, and we will be bringing ideas to the table. Many we can, until we can get this straightened out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anything else, Terry?
Steve, you're not referring to Article 19, are you?
No, that's his normal budget.
Yes, that's the operation.
That's the op budget.
Okay.
That's nothing. Yeah.
Mr. Chairman,
Go right ahead.
I move to approve the annual town meeting warrant as presented.
Second.
That was.
I thought we
Yeah,
already did
we already had it. We were in
Did that.
Oh, we
discussion.
already did
that.
it?
Yeah.
It was still discussed. Okay,
So
sorry.
in
I
discussion,
missed that one.
Spike and then.
any other observations or comments by the board before I bring this to a vote?
Nope.
Okay. So again, because Mike is remote, we will do this by a roll call vote. How would you vote? Terry,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes as well. Thank you.
But I remind, I believe, do you have copies of you have a copy of the warrant for signature tonight, Mr. Lamonte? It's on its way around. Make sure we all hit it.
Got sent to advisory tonight, so.
It just got handed to.
Love it.
Now, next item, 6I, the annual town election warrant.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the annual town meeting warrant. Oh, the annual town election warrant as presented.
Seconded.
Promotion, multiple seconds. Any discussion by the board?
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
When looking at the election warrant, I noticed that it is conspicuous that the ballot question for the override is not here.
And I will say, Carol caught that after it went into the packet, and brought me the updated
Okay.
one. So you all have that this evening. So,
Trying to catch us.
yeah, the ballot question is on there. It was submitted in time. Carol caught that and brought it to our office. So we did have it, but you don't have that one in your packet. So this is the updated one that you'd be signing that includes the ballot question. So yes, Mr. Rivard is correct. He caught that. So,
Mr. Chair, would it please be noted that the town administrator presented the updated warrant, the updated town election warrant, and that to be noted in our packet as presented.
And Mr. Currie will have a copy of this available for you in your mailbox as well, so.
Yeah, I'll try. I'll try and get it to tomorrow morning.
I believe as a result of what we were presented being incorrect, we must move to amend
The motion as presented.
the motion as presented to include the ballot question on the warrant. So I make that amendment, or I make that motion to amend.
So
Second.
second.
Okay, again, motion made, multiple seconds. Good catch. Thank you, Mr. Rivard. Any further discussions by the board?
We don't have to vote on the first one, just.
Correct.
And just a note, thank you to Carol for realizing it and making sure it got to us correctly before we all said yes.
Absolutely. Hearing no further discussions by the board, let's bring this to the roll call vote. How would you vote, Terry?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
I vote yes as well. Thank you. Next, we have in our packet item 6J, Scout Hall Operating Procedure.
And this is Mike's copy.
Thank you.
I would entertain a motion on item 6J.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Rivard,
I move to approve the Scout Hall operating procedures as presented and for the chair to sign.
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
So, couple of points. No alterations will be made to the building without approval of the select board. Examples are not limited to installation of cameras. Is that security cameras? Because we had an issue with the gazebo where there were cameras installed. What do we, if TCTV is in there, they're not allowed to install their cameras? I'm not clear on that.
Installation of security cameras.
It doesn't say security.
It's a draft. The board could add security cameras and it could be as amended.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. This was a draft coming to us. If, people wanted to add in or otherwise, I think it's a good point. Oh, I'm sorry, through the chair. That we can make clarifications. This was something that Adam put together to make sure that we could move forward as the construction is actually moving along quite nicely. So this is a good first stab at making sure that we've got some kind of control.
Thank you, Mike. Mr. Chair, also, on the plans, it says note that this was the initial design, not final, where TCTV just has a little 25% spot. Can that be amended? To give them a little more wiggle room? Has anybody consulted them? If that was adequate to store the equipment that they plan to move there? Are they gonna have enough space? Did anybody ask? I know it's up to us, but I mean, in the design, since it's not final, would it be possible to make sure we do it right the first time? Because I did see some plans from the original where there were cabinets and cubbies and things like that, and I didn't know the amount, how many. So I don't know if there's 25% is adequate to complete the task. And then I do have an issue with the keys. You know, we don't sign in and out of our town hall keys, so, I mean,
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Mike.
So Terry, when we walked through, Ab and I walked through with this map, and the primary purpose is it's a meeting hall. So if you're looking at Exhibit B right now with the lines that we've got drawn for the space, and you can see there's like a central circle, and there's a heating grate that you can see there in the upper right-hand corner.
Mhm.
If the original proposed space came down several feet to basically the south side of where that right-hand door opened up, it basically carved up the central part of the hall to look more like an L rather than an open space. So what we did was we backed off using the door as a guide. I'm not sure if TCTV is going to use partitions like cubicle material otherwise, but at least it would match up with that where the door opens into the open space rather than the door opening up into TCTV space. The main thing that we looked at was maintaining that hall feel as a contiguous space. So if you were standing at the top part of where the conference table is, you weren't having to look around the corner to see what was going on over on the right-hand side. So it was about usable space. You know, if TCTV is in there at the same time as scouts using it, that there would not, that the central feel of the hall was not interrupted. That was the reason for that.
Thank you for that clarification, Rick.
any chance we could hear from Steve?
Sure.
You have any comments? I don't.
Thought he would like to handle this.
Hi, board.
Hi, Dottie.
Dottie.
How are you?
Good, you?
So we just wanted to bring some things to your attention, some things that we feel are very important to us. One being that we would really love to put up a sign saying no peanuts or tree nuts products being brought into Scout Hall due to staff allergies. It is an airborne allergy, so we just want to be sure that we are keeping TCTV safe.
And our scouts, I hope.
And our scouts, absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
We also just had a question on the keys. We were just a little confused about that, and we were wondering why it was not similar to town hall policies, other town hall building policies.
I'll feel part of that one as a former scout leader here in town, and this goes back years and years.
Mhm.
The keys did have to be signed out when Council on Aging had the small area where the visitor center is identified on here. That used to be a small office space,
Okay,
which actually at one time was where the scouts kept all their records, and then COA got moved into there, and then eventually it was urban sprawl and the scouts got pushed out of the building. That's a long story. But I think that's just a legacy of how it was done. You know, correct me if I'm wrong, but
okay.
May I make a comment on that?
go ahead.
Our needs are simple. We need 4 keys for supervisors, myself, Dottie, Hannah, and Alex Harrison, our new hire, who is very responsible. And we will all be supervised, well, they will be supervising. I'm not gonna be a scout hall much. They're gonna be supervising our part-timers. So if we can streamline this process, in my opinion, we need 4 keys until further notice. If we can somehow streamline that so you don't have to be bothering someone to sign out keys every 2 weeks, that would be helpful.
I just happen to have this in here. because
Mr. Chair.
I gave it here, I can use out today at the park.
Go ahead, Mike.
Under that section of the keys, I would just add, TCTV, staff would fall under the same, town hall policy for keys. I don't think TCTV should have to go through any kind of sign in and out the same way that, staff members are assigned keys. I think the spirit of what the TA wrote this was in how we were going to use it externally, but I would add in to make sure that TCTV has access as they need it.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair. Having with the discussion that we've already had, seems that this needs to go back for revisions. Therefore, I'm going to withdraw my motion to approve tonight as it currently stands, to allow this to go back for revisions and then to come back to another meeting for a vote when this is in more complete form. So I withdraw my motion to approve as presented.
I'll withdraw my second as well.
Duly noted. The motion is withdrawn.
Yeah, it was just a draft. That's fine.
Yep.
Correct.
May I additional?
Hang on just a minute, Steve. There was some sidebar conversations from the other side of the room when Mike was preparing his
Oh,
speech.
it's just that I happen to, this is the DPW gave me this Parks and Rec. When we took on the role of giving out keys at Gilman Way. I also, the Templeton, Senior, Center has the same form. You can flip out the wording where this has Parks and Rec wording in it. There's has the Senior Center, and Bob has it for other buildings and stuff in the town. So this is the town copy. It's just wordage is different depending on your department. And so therefore, my employee had to sign this and he had to sign it. So when he gives it back, I have to sign it again and we keep this in our file. The same thing at the Senior Center has it. So there's a copy at the Senior Center that has so many keys that I, as Parks and Rec Commissioner, had to sign out so that I could sign out some of them to my employees to take control of it. So they know that I have a certain amount, like it's like there's 4 of them that I signed out on behalf of Parks and Rec through them. That I have this form that when I have a rec coordinator or my assistant that I had to have them sign. Each coordinator brings back the key at the end of their round of being whatever sport they're in, if they use the building, and I have to sign it back in. Like, for instance, the rec swim instructor got to use our office and he had a key and he signed it out and used the copy machine and everything. And then when his season was done, he gave me the key back. I signed it. I put it in my folder. The basketball had one right now. He signed his back in. And now that same key is now the Vanessa has it, coordinator. They go in, they use the computer because that's how some of them don't have computers at home and they're able to do their rosters and things like that. And then use our office. But this is just basically, this is the town policy in my eyes. Because the DPW has the same one. And it just, like I said, this one says Parks and Rec on it, the one at the Senior Center, but all of this section is exactly. The only difference is I wrote Parks and Rec here, so you just circle it. If you worked for the Templeton, the town in general, just, not my department. The highway, he's got his here, you circle that, and then you write who the name is, what the key was for, and then it tells you all about what you have to do to return the key. And it says your names and everything. So.
Okay.
That's policy in town. Would you like to have my copy? I just happen to be giving out keys this week. I didn't realize I had it in here.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Currie, go right ahead, sir.
No, I think what Candace brings up is a good point. What I think we've done with this proposal tonight is taking a look at some of the unique things that are maybe we have to go through with the Scout Hall. What I would ask the TA to go back, as Matt kind of alluded to, for tweaking it a little bit. Let's integrate some of the things that we already have from the town perspective, and then the Scout Hall would, if it has any unique properties, would be like an appendix to what the town policy would be for key control or otherwise the management of buildings.
Thank you for that, Peg. Steve, you had a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify a point and then you mentioned a couple other things that we're concerned with. And, you know, as we go through this process, if we can be a part of the conversation, it would be very helpful to us and avoid confusion, I think. To, you know, see how we feel we need to use the space as well. We've always said that we need a quadrant of that to build out a set so that we can shoot things. And plan to build it out to about the point of the top of that heating grate, not over the grate, with a shelf that we may be able to get from the library attic. It's very nice, and put curtains over it so that people don't have to look at a shelf. It looks very nice, black curtain, and one behind it. So when we want to open up the shelf for a shoot, we can do that. And behind that will be about 4 to 6 feet of workspace for us and storage space. So we'll hide all that with the curtain. But we will also need to use the space to do our work. You know, if I come in for a meeting with Dottie and Hannah, we're probably going to sit at the conference table that we're donating. Right? We have a desk that's white. It's just a table, 6 feet. Let me please
Just a real quick comment on that. You're donating a table. Actually, the scouts, I've been in contact with several scout leaders recently, just so you're aware. They also have a lot of things in storage, and one of them would be a conference table that they're willing to donate to Scout Hall.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
just
been
found that
asked
out
for years
recently.
if we were donating it, so we're purchased a table that's
Yeah.
7 feet for $275. You can get a 6-footer for $100 more. And if we can't donate it to Scout Hall, then, you know, if they don't want it, we'll find something.
No, I mean, we might be able to have two. I'm just letting you know, when the
Yeah.
table came to my head.
Yeah, but anyways,
The
we have.
scouts do have some
Yeah.
furnishings as
Yeah,
well.
we have a desk, and we always thought that there would be computer access for the public there if we want to do that.
I think
And
it's
that
on
would
the
be
plan.
something for the general area. We also purchased a credenza that matches the floor in the front room, where we could store our apparel that we need for. So anyways, I mean, we're gonna be we plan to use most of the space, but our area can be the quadrant. And I just hope everyone understands that. When we do a shoot, we're gonna have to impose on the space, just like we do when we do a shoot here. We have to move the chairs around, and there's cameras and wires everywhere for an hour.
So
Then we
how-
put it all away again. So I wanted to clarify that, and also that, I know you don't want it, but I strongly recommend security cameras inside and out. And they can be very, discreet. They don't have to be this size and look bad, but it protects everyone. If something happens in there and we don't know what happened, you should have a security system with motion sensors on it. And it also protects anyone who might be accused of doing something that happens in there, because then we can go back and check it.
I'll address that in a moment. I'm gonna let Select Board Member Griffiths enter her comment first.
Through the chair, Steve, working with the scheduling. What is it?
Yes, I would like to talk to a
Anything?
bit about that too, and Dottie. I want to talk about that.
I would be more than happy to work with the TA's office on scheduling and working that out so that we're not colliding with the scouts. And we were just wondering if you knew any kind of an idea of when the scouts would be in there.
As soon as we open the doors,
Are there certain nights?
Are there like a regular?
we don't have a schedule from the scouts,
Okay.
but when will they be in there? As soon as it's allowed to cut the ribbon and they go in.
Just to give you an idea, Dottie, because I'm a parent of 2 scouts, so I have an
Okay.
idea of kind of when they meet.
Oh,
As far as the pack meetings go, those are monthly, either on a Tuesday or a Thursday, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts. But weekly meetings could be on any night of the week. I know that the different dens for the pack One meets on Mondays, multiple meet on Tuesdays. I know at least one meets on Wednesdays. So it could be any night of the week. Generally it's after 6 p.m.
Okay.
But having said all that, we need to keep in mind that Scout Hall is Scout Hall. Big letters on the front of the building. And that the primary use needs to be for the Scouts. This building has been used for them for many, many years. They have not had access to it now for a long time. We're going to be able to get them access back to it. It's going to be a benefit to them. We want to we need to make sure that they have the primary access.
And
Okay.
PCTV is very thrilled that this process is coming to an end and the Scouts are able to finally have a space to be able to flourish and grow and be able to work together. We were just looking to be able to organize and schedule around the Scouts and
Yeah, this has been a long road to hoe, and I'm not saying that very lightly. So, in answer to your question, I'll piggyback what Matt said. Historically, when the Cub Scout pack had 11 separate dens, we were meeting in there every night of the week. The Girl Scouts were in there, the Brownie Scouts were in there. Scout Hall was very, very busy. In the original deed, it was donated to the town and the youth of the town by Abel Dudley. That has always been a point of contention. As Steve was explaining, and I was a little bit troubled that we don't know what the Scouts have in storage. That's a challenge. That building has been vacant now for almost 10 years. I have one other comment for Steve, just something to think about. Have you ever heard of the term, the Guide to Safe Scouting? It's readily available through the Boy Scouts of America on the website. I have a concern installing a security camera. The Boy Scouts are very much going to poo-poo that real fast. They don't like photography. They don't like recording of Scouts without specific guidelines and permissions. There's also a concern when you have adults who are not registered with the Boy Scouts. It gets into a too deep leadership, youth protection, and Matt can attest to this. YPT is done on an annual basis. It's to protect the children. The Girl Scouts are worse than what the Boy Scouts have, and you know what they have. And I've served many, many years at a council level as a assistant council commissioner. I know what it took. I know what it took to train. And I know what a pain in the butt it was for all parties concerned. So I have questions. I have concerns. Go ahead.
Just to respectfully disagree. I think the intent of this phase of Scout Hall was to include TCTV. I think they initiated the renovation of Scout Hall and were included in the beginning as equal partners in this venture. And as egregious as it is, there are multiple lawsuits out on Scout leaders. That's all I'm gonna say.
And we have always wanted to work with the Scouts there. I want to be on record of saying that. They were the first call.
It's unfortunate today. There, the abuse scandal with the Catholic Church and the priests, and it's not that I'm trying to discredit anything going on here in town. I just would like to see the youth protected, and cameras are part of society today in that layer of protection.
Good points.
Those two.
Go ahead, Jeff.
It would be nice to see them, TCTV and the Boy Scouts get together ahead of time and coordinate what because they both know what they need. We don't. And it would be nice for them to work together to
We would
design the book.
We would very much be in favor of that.
And the other thing is, perhaps next year they can get pavement.
10 years to get this building back open.
Hang on.
So we're just in the process of doing this right now.
I know.
It's part of the 5-year plan, Gail.
Gail,
I get it.
Yeah.
I would agree with you to
I
try
get
to
it.
get
Part of
parking
the
and
20
pavement
year.
where? Because The town doesn't own that much property in front of the building. That
Oh.
has always been the challenge. And when the church next door changed hands, you know, during the evenings, the scouts could park at the church all night long.
Right.
When we had the
See,
antique store moved in, there was quite the Donnybrook went on one Saturday afternoon because the scouts were parking there, carpooling to an event, but then they were having some real issues because of the number of vehicles that were pushed all the way to the fence, but it didn't really matter. There was no right answer.
Right.
In fact, we actually brought a bunch of vehicles up here to the town hall lot because town hall was closed on the weekend. It's like, we got to do something because we have to get down to Fall River.
no, but it's just a mud pit there.
Yeah, it is. I'm fully aware, and it has been a challenge the entire time I've been in town. I've been involved with scouts with all my children, so I get it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
just
you
wanted
have
to ask a question historically wise. Now, was that the building that was one of the original schoolhouses for the town?
Yes, it was.
Okay, will we have some kind of something inside the building, like in the entry or something,
Yes.
to pay homage to that, what it used to be in the
Yeah,
olden days?
I believe there's
Oh.
process
Okay.
in the making.
So what
Not
was it?
exactly
School-
sure what
like
it is.
schoolhouse never, like, little
There's a
house?
whole history on it if you want to go online and find it, but I can also pull it out of my history stuff
That's
and
cool.
leave copies on the table in the select board office if people would like to read the history and the family that donated that particular building. But yes, that was the official schoolhouse
Cool.
of the town of Templeton. And it was a couple of different uses, but the majority of the time it has been occupied by our scouts.
Yeah, I
in
just
all
wanted to
four
know if it
precincts.
was like a little schoolhouse like we see on that TV show.
It
It's
was,
kinda
and it
cool
has
when you think
original
about it.
chalkboards just like this
Still there.
building does, so, yeah.
And we still own it, that's pretty amazing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we have a motion.
No, we don't.
No, motion's been
I withdrew it,
We-
remember?
We withdrew it, right?
Withdrew it, remember?
We'll go back and work on it.
Yep. And we will just consider moving this to old business at a future meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dottie.
Thank you, Dottie.
Next up, item 6K.
Mr. Chair, I would move to table item K to the next meeting.
Second,
Okay, motion to move to table to the next meeting, and it has been seconded. Any discussion?
Obviously, I'll be in a better position to
Yeah.
talk through it.
Understood.
Completely understood, sir. Let's bring that to a roll call vote. Terry, how would you vote?
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
yes,
Mike,
Yes,
and I vote yes as well.
Feel better.
And last but certainly not least, Mike, I'll let you lead off, but if your
Sure.
voice is faltering, I will jump in and help you out.
okay,
Item
yeah, no
L.
problem. It's pretty quick. This is the instructions to the board for Mr. Lamontaine's annual review that we accomplish every April since he has been employed as the town administrator. We've gone through a couple of different iterations with this. This is just the 23 to 24 timeframe. Actually, it's a calendar year for 23. You'll find the instructions fairly similar to when Tim ran the drill last year. You've got your score sheet, and I will email the board either tonight or tomorrow morning an electronic version of the score sheet. So you don't have to print this out and hand Jim it if you don't want to. I'll accept them in any way that you want. You can email them back to me. You can take a picture of them. It doesn't matter. I'll compile all of them, put them together. If you could have them to me by next Wednesday, which is it says it in the 17th.
17th.
Yep. And that way I'll compile it, make sure that I've got all the materials and we can finish his review by the 24th. Other than that, the rest of the instruction is that it should be self-explanatory.
The chair, can I make a little levity in the situation?
Go ahead.
Please use the following scorning rubric. Your evaluation.
Do I have a typo there?
Scorning.
Yeah.
I just thought it was.
Scorning. That's what
Yeah,
we're
I
doing to
just-
Adam. We're scorning him. Sorry about that.
Page 2, Mike.
We apologize
Yeah,
in advance.
I'm looking at it, and I think there's actually, there's another error on it. I think it was like it's page 4. It says 24 April 2022. That's fine. The final product will have we will not scorn him. And it'll be the correct year. But thank you for the catch.
Thank you, Mike.
Did anyone have any questions? If you could have that to me by the 17th, that would be great.
Thank you for that, Mike.
Yep.
That brings us up to board member comments.
I'm all set this evening. Thank you very much.
Feel better, Mike.
Please, Mike, feel better.
Any comments, Terry?
I just had it's kind of a question comment, no real dialogue. I heard a phrase this week on the news, growing beyond capacity. And I know that we have plenty of room and water and sewer, but with police and fire and the school, I'm wondering if you could give it some thought to that phrase, growing beyond our capacity, and what that might mean. And then the second thing, somebody recommended to me to listen to Plato's Republic, and I thought of Julie because she's questioning about businesses, and one of the things town needs is food. We might consider, mentioning to EDIC it's some sort of food store. It's just an interesting book. I probably have to go through it a couple of times to grasp it all, but you came to mind because what does make a good community? What does a community need? And I know that we do have Templeton Tough, and we come together in the hard times, but it's going forward with climate change and things that we really need to look at how we can feed ourselves in an extreme emergency. What resources we have. That's all. Thanks.
Good this evening, sir. Thank you.
Julie?
I'm good as well, thank you.
I have 2 quick comments. As I drove around town in the last week or so, especially pre, during, and post the storm, I saw a couple things, and one of them that really stuck out, and Matt, you're probably gonna go buy it on your way home. Terry, you're probably gonna go buy it on your way home. The blinking light on Patriots Road as you're facing Hubbardston Road is leaning into the common.
Noticed that yesterday.
I don't know if it got bumped by a vehicle, by a snowplow. It's been that way for a week or so. I don't even know who owns that one, if it's
I think it's,
MassDOT.
I think
If
it's
it,
master.
I know there's a post with a meter. I did
Yeah.
not call Power and Light to find out who does
Probably
it.
be
but-
state because that's state road.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
believe
I'm
it's-
not certain,
I believe it's
Yeah.
state,
but it was one of those things that's like,
but maybe we can reach out to
On the
them, Light and
common.
Water.
It's on the common basically by station 1,
So-
fire station 1.
yes.
I know I had a problem, there was a speed limit, it's not there anymore either, it kept getting knocked down, but I talked to Mary Beth at Highway and she called the state. It was going down the hill where Country Mischief is. So
Oh.
sometimes Light and Water or the highway, and they can contact the right.
Yeah, and there again, that's Route 2A and 101, so
State road.
2A State Road, so that might be a MassDOT thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. And the other comment I had, and I don't want to flog the dead horse, but I just want to bring it up. I was looking over the list of boards and committee vacancies, and I noticed back in July of 2023 versus what's on the last update, 3/26/24, we've completely eliminated the Disability Commission, which shows 5 vacant seats, but by the state law, Chapter 40, Section 8J can have up to 13 seats. And I know we're always looking to have folks step forward and step up, but if it's not even showing, if they don't know it's there, they don't know how to get to it. And I still don't think this list is entirely complete, but we'll get there. And that's all I have tonight.
Tim, can you refresh my memory on that committee? Is it comprised of different sectors of the public?
Yes. They're rotating 3-year terms. An appointed official of the town, an immediate family member of a disabled person to a 3-year term, a disabled person to a 2-year term, a disabled person to a second 2-year term, a disabled person to a 1-year term. And then I did not drill down for items 6 through 13. But it's quite a few things. And this is actually something that is pushed and works through the state. And I know I've addressed in the past ADA compliance, some other concerns. This is right in their wheelhouse. So it's just one of those things. I would like to see us get it across the finish line. We worked hard to get the special legislation put through. We got that approved. It went through the vetting process and we're just not quite there yet, but I think we can make it happen.
How do we advertise? How do we advertise? Maybe put it up at annual town meeting on the
We
screen.
keep talking about it, but I've done so many ubiquitous pleas for boards and committee positions. I don't mind. Again, I don't want to flog the dead horse, but. And if anybody has the secret sauce, how do we get folks to step forward? Please, by all means, share with us, because. We have so many things, we have so much talent in town, and let's get people involved. And at that, I will entertain a motion. Go ahead.
Before you entertain the motion, just to note that our next regular business meeting is Wednesday, April 24th.
Thank you
at
for that.
6:30 PM. And now I will make the motion to adjourn.
Motion duly made, multiple seconds. There is usually not a discussion because under Robert's Rules of Order, the motion to adjourn is always deemed to be in order. So that said, I will entertain the roll call vote. Terry,
Yes.
Matt,
Yes.
Julie,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes.